A safe house in a video game is a space where you can relax and regroup and enjoy some downtime with your allies. Truly, it's them that makes a safe house a safe home. Or at least they do, right up until the bad guys turn up and wreck up your happy haven, violating the sanctity of the one place in the game you thought was safe. This is something that is always shocking, despite the fact that, as this list will prove, it happens all the goddamn time. So here for your viewing pleasure are 7 times your safe house became an unsafe house. Enjoy and beware spoilers for the following games.
Do we really need a spoiler list? I mean, if you've not played Assassin's Creed Brotherhood by now, isn't it a bit late?
Yeah, but there's some more recent stuff on there, like, I don't know, Wolfenstein and Batman Arkham Origins.
Yeah, but the game is appearing in this list about times your safe house became unsafe. Isn't that a spoiler in itself, that you're just looking at the game name?
Yeah, gosh, I guess so, yeah. I mean, that really does give it away quite a lot, doesn't it?
Probably we shouldn't draw attention to it, though.
No, alright. Shh.
Depending on how you played Assassin's Creed 2, Monteriggioni was either the delightful city that you invested time and money into the upkeep of to ensure its future prosperity, or the place you went to dump hateful feathers into a stupid box because you're one achievement away from 1000 G. Oh, thank God, now we can finally forget about her. The point is, Monteriggioni is home to the Villa Auditore, Ezio's safe house and home base, where you can head if you want to chill and check out your enormous collection of big weird knives. You can also change clothing and equipment here, as well as peruse Ezio's collection of priceless Renaissance art, a collection which also includes paintings of everyone he's killed, which, let's just hope the police don't ever come up here, Ezio. A little bit incriminating. Monteriggioni's various businesses also provide a stable income for Ezio, and it's just a lovely, peaceful place to come and relax between missions, when you want some downtime somewhere where you can confidently expect not to have cannonballs fired at you. Right up until Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, where that happens in the first half hour of the game.
It's the Borgia!
It's always the bloody Borgia. So things all go a bit Game of Thrones Season 8 up in Monteriggioni, and before long you're running people through in your literal own backyard. Half the city is on fire and the other half has fallen over, making this the worst thing to happen to Monteriggioni for 500 years. Because that's when Sean Hastings moves in.
Well, we'll just wait up here then, shall we? Yeah, all alone with massive targets painted on our backs.
I wonder if those cannons still work.
Whoa! Stand down! This is Klaus. He's one of us. He was a Nazi before, but he's on our side now.
Where is he, Johnny?
How is this possible? We're in the very center of Berlin. You're hiding in plain sight.
It's the last place they would look out.
Will they not hear us?
Best to keep your voice down, then, yeah?
The first half of Wolfenstein: The New Order goes exceptionally badly for BJ Blazkowicz. He fails in his mission, has to sacrifice one of his buddies, and ends up in a coma after a serious head injury. Even worse, when he wakes up in the 1960s, the Allies have lost the war, the Third Reich rules the world, and there are literally thousands of Nazis that need a murdering. I mean, think how tired his arms must be getting after all those Malay kills. Poor guy. So when in Chapter 5 the Beej eventually makes it to the Berlin hideout of the underground resistance, it's a welcome break from dodging bullets and cracking skulls. It's time to put down the weapon, kick off your shoes, and engage in a spot of light burglary? BJ, you're a guest here. The only combat in the entire chapter is optional and involves BJ taking a nap and being transported to a nightmare that looks just like the original Wolfenstein 3D. Nightmare is right, you can't even look up and down. The Resistance base becomes a brief bit of normality in between the intensity of Wolfenstein's main missions, so it's exceptionally rude when a bunch of Nazis smash their way in and start wrecking the joint. It's the problem with Nazis, no manners. I mean, that's one of the problems, definitely not the main one. Still, by this point, BJ will have gotten pretty good at murdering fascists, so it should be no trouble to clear the place out and get back to, I don't know, more burglary? Yeah, alright BJ, you've earned that. gold chew horn.
The Evil Within 2 is a game brimming with stuff too horrible to show. Don't show it! Anyway, because the bulk of the game is horrifying flesh nightmares, you need to find yourself a nice place somewhere calm where you can take a breather, relax, and not worry about screaming ghost women. See? Good example. This place, bad. A better choice is Sebastian's Room, a safe house within the brain-linking virtual world of STEM in which The Evil Within 2 takes place that is modelled on Seb's old office at the Crimson City Police Department. Compared to the rest of the game, Sebastian's Room is a veritable haven of peace and tranquility, featuring such calming conveniences as piping hot coffee, a cat to pet, a slide projector to relive painful memories, a workbench to work on your crafting, and a relaxing electric chair to zap new skills into your brainstem. Relaxing is a relative term. You'll revisit Sebastian's Room many times throughout the game, and it's a great way of grounding yourself and preparing for your next foray into the horrors of Union, and also getting yourself a coffee because you do not want to have to deal with gross zombies before you've caffeinated. Coming off the end of Chapter 8 of The Evil Within 2, which ends with some typically harrowing stuff and you falling down a big hole, you might be relieved to find yourself waking up in Sebastian's Room. Time for a coffee. Cream, 3 sugars, no ghosts. Thanks. What's less relieving, however, is the fact that someone's been in here while you were out and really gothed up the place. There are candles everywhere, runes and an altar that I'm pretty sure we would have noticed before, and oh good, someone's left their blood all over the floor. No wonder the cat's buggered off. Unless... Okay, new working theory, the cat did it. This theory doesn't hold up for too long, however, as a bunch of on-fire zombies show up, freak us out, and suddenly we're in a dungeon full of coffins and skulls, which is pretty much the opposite of our cozy, well-appointed office, and everything is revealed to have been the work of a cult leader called Father Theodore.
Welcome, Seeker. You have come for answers. I am here to help.
Unless the cat is pulling the strings from behind the scenes. Sorry, I think I'm getting paranoid. Too much coffee. Oh, it's good though. Now, if we want to get our nice office back to normal, we have to trudge through Theodore's nightmarish Hell Cathedral, fight all his minions, and watch him get impaled by our ex-wife. For all of which, the cat is completely absent. Very convenient.
Given that Agent 47 jets around the world and gets paid millions in contract fees, you'd expect his home to be a penthouse suite with a well-appointed personal gym. How else can you explain the fact that he can do that indefinitely? In Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, not to be confused with 2018's Hitman 2 Not Silent Assassin, we get a rare glimpse at 47's digs, and it's definitely not an $8 million bachelor pad. Instead, it's a garden shed in the grounds of a monastery. There isn't even a squat rack. Fire up Hitman 2 Silent Assassin and the first message you'll see in the game is, "The garden shed, this is your home." The shed, and the Sicilian monastery it stands in, is the safe place where you begin every mission in the game, receiving a briefing from Diana and choosing your loadout. The problem is, the entire area is suspiciously large and detailed. Almost like there might be a mission to complete here later on. To no one's great surprise, the final mission takes place in the monastery, with the entire area riddled with armed goons. Fortunately, none of them seem to have gotten into your beloved shed, or, more importantly, your other shed, which is now full of all the guns you've unlocked throughout the game, and presumably tons of spiders and a bag of solid cement. What follows is you attempting to be stealthy, sneaking around these once safe environments and assassinating a small army of baddies, while a full orchestra goes completely ballistic in the background. You guys, they're gonna hear you! Alright, that's on you, brass section.
Well played, sir. You stopped the electrocutioner with a single strike.
I just used his arrogance to my advantage. A textbook move a child could have avoided.
True, but I doubt the rest of them will go down as easily.
If they do, we'll be eating that Christmas ham sooner than you think.
The Batcave is a big cave full of bats that Bruce Wayne fell into as a child, an experience we have to assume involved some pretty serious head trauma because it led to him dressing up as a bat and fighting crime. Possibly as revenge on the bats, Bruce turned the Bat's Cave into his secret base of operations, a place for him to keep all his cool bat gadgets, brood over his rogues gallery, and land his super noisy jet whenever the bats are trying to get some sleep. It's also where you'll find Bruce's butler, friend, and factotum, Alfred, who can usually be seen hanging around the place, pleading with Batman to stop injuring so many police officers.
The concussion detonator is on your workbench. Remember, if you use that instead of your fists, you'll do less lasting damage to those police officers and civil servants.
Nice try, Alfred. Good talk. Anyway, the Batcave is Batman's safe house and as such offers the Dark Knight a secure place to return to throughout Arkham Origins whenever things are getting a bit much in Gotham. That is until Bane discovers Batman's secret identity and drops by the Batcave to wreck up the place and smack down poor old Alfred.
Alfred! Alfred! My detective vision is down. Hang on, Alfred.
Bane isn't a guy to do things by halves, so Alfred is at death's door when you arrive. But there's still just enough time for him to give you a moving speech about how you shouldn't feel bad and to accept things and move on.
Don't add me to the weight you carry.
But this is Batman we're talking about, a guy who's about as good at moving on from trauma as he is at maintaining healthy adult relationships, and who never met a problem that couldn't be solved with punching.
Going to be all right.
There we go, now to punch this Batcave back into shape. You too, Alfred. I don't pay you to lie around.
Lord Pendleton said he would meet us here. I checked the wine cellar. Losing family gives a man a thirst.
It's a wonder more video game characters don't use a pub as their base of operations. There's comfortable seating, free-flowing drinks for post-mission celebrations, and all the salted snacks you can eat. As long as you can get over the fact that they all have names like pork scratchings. Exactly as appetizing as they sound. Set as it is in a sort of fantasy version of Victorian Britain, Dishonored's loyalists are absolutely to be found hiding out in a pub. In this case, it's the Hound Pits pub, which has been abandoned for 14 years since the rat plague struck Dunwall, killing vast swathes of the city's population. Sad times. Although on the plus side, it does make it a lot easier to get served at the bar. Unfortunately, in the mission called The Loyalists, the sanctity of this fine drinking establishment is besmirched when your supposed allies, Havelock, Pendleton and Martin, betray you. What's worse is that they fill the pub with city guard and surround the place with tall boys, and not the kind of tall boys that are filled with 16 ounces of delicious beer. I feel extra betrayed because this is literally a pub. In order to complete the mission, Corvo has to sneak around the boozer, either killing or subduing the city guard in order to rescue his friends Pietro and Sokolov. Then he has to fire a flare so he can escape by boat and head off to rescue kidnapped child empress Emily Caldwin. But was she really kidnapped, or did she just have to leave the pub at 5 PM due to licensing restrictions? Makes you think.
Kidnapped. It's definitely kidnapped.
All right, believe what you want.
Silent Hill 4: The Room tells the story of Henry Townsend, a man who wakes up one day to find that he's trapped in his apartment. But unlike you or I, Henry is not trapped in his apartment because he ordered something online and the delivery window is 6 AM to 10 PM. Rather, it's because the windows are sealed and the door has been locked tight with a frankly sarcastic amount of chains.
What the hell? What's going on here?
After that, it's a real good news, bad news kind of day for Henry. The bad news is that a hole opens up in his bathroom wall, but the good news is that it leads to other dimensions. But the bad news is that those dimensions are bad and full of Silent Hill horrors. But the good news is that his landlord will probably cover the repair work to fix it up once this is all over and done with. This one's probably going in the bad news column. Or at least your apartment is that, right up until about halfway through the game when it becomes what is known in the paranormal investigation field as haunted as f***. These hauntings range from the mundane, such as rattling windows, to the inconvenience, such as the kitchen taps pouring blood all over the sink, to, well, I mean, it's crying dolls pushing their way out of a wall. Horrifying, I'm gonna go with. Anyway, bad luck, your safe, cozy bolt hole is now a Halloween spooktacular, and you've got two choices for dealing with the hauntings. Try and ignore them, take a bunch of damage and get one of the bad endings, or spend loads of time exorcising the ghosts every time you pop home by plonking down holy candles all over the place. Still, while the TV may be haunted, at least the kitchen's still working, so we can still relax with a nice cup of tea. I'll just go get some milk from the fridge. Alright, too far, Silent Hill.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. And if you found this video a nice, safe place to relax and enjoy yourself, why not watch some more videos of this sort? We've got one up here about bosses that transform from something quite innocuous looking into something absolutely terrifying. And down here, we've got a video from our sister channel, Outside Extra, about the things that are absolutely bound to happen whenever you start an RPG. So enjoy those, and we'll see you next time.